is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
How good is that?
I want to bring you across some content I found over the weekend as I was munching through social media. This woman has a great story to tell and a celebration for all young mums out there that may have experienced these sorts of moments. And 132410 if you'd like to get involved. This lady shared her story of what happened putting her child in the car the other day.
I have a 3-year-old daughter, so I often have a shower with her and she asks questions about body parts and what things are called, and I tell her, have a shower this morning. Take her downstairs, put her shoes on, get outside. One of the men that I do see quite regularly is walking his dog, and he waves to Olive and says, good morning, and Olive says, good morning. I lift Olive up to put her into the car seat, so she's facing towards the man who is walking past with his dog. And she yells, Mummy has a hairy front bottom. And I don't think I can turn. I'm frozen. I can't turn. I can't make eye contact with him. But what I hear is him say, sorry, lovely. And I think, shall I put my hand over your mouth? What do I do? Olive shouts again, Mummy has a hairy, and I'm trying to cover her mouth, Mummy has a hairy front bottom. Now,
Mum.
he never turned around. I didn't make eye contact with him. There was no other words that came out of that man's mouth. He was gone by the time I turned around. Do I need to move house?
Oh, no. Poor Mum. First of all, there's a couple of questions there, isn't there? Really?
Here we go. I'd love to hear your questions.
What a moment.
It's funny. We all hear the same audio, but we all just compute it so differently. Like, what is the biggest issue here?
What a beautiful moment. I love the awkwardness. I would have celebrated that awkwardness, and you can feel it through the video of her talking about it.
Yeah.
This went on to receive over 5,000 comments.
Oh, wow.
And what's great is the comments are in support of her, with people sharing their own stories. So one comment was, my daughter told the police officer that her mum has the same silver bracelet as him in her drawer.
Oh, and the handcuffs.
That's great. That's great.
My 5-year-old
Didn't know Mum was a cop.
My 5-year-old son walked in on a woman going to the bathroom and shouted, why is she peeing out of her fur? My daughter fell.
Can you send them through to Tom first before you censor them?
Yeah, I don't think anyone. Tommy is so nervous. Go on, give us another
My daughter found an adult friend of mine and took it to school and pretended she was Harry Potter and was casting spells.
What's it called? Oh, I can't recall. What's the...
No, Jess, you'd know a spell.
No, there's another one. What's the other one? Like maybe the death one.
That's
This is where we need Leno. Leno would have
Leno.
about 5 up his sleeve.
What, 5 of those?
Yeah.
Spells, you mean?
Yeah, just in his sleeve. Then you go to his drawer.
Oh, my God. He's got a briefcase under his bed. Poor Leno.
Extreme anxiety.
I was on a packed bus the other day with my kids. My son decided to shout out, remember when you pooed your pants last week, Mum?
Mum. Well, you just in those situations say...
You know what? You're right, Kate. If you laugh with it, and the person that's walking past has a laugh as well, don't they?
132410 if you've been in this situation. My niece exclaimed to my mother-in-law the other day in front of several people, Nan, why do you have a beard on your nuts?
Did you say that? Oh.
My friend
can we just do this till 9? Because I've actually got a story to share as well that May said.
My friend used sanitary towels as elbow and knee pads incorrectly, not knowing what she was doing for a skateboard.
Oh,
gosh. What was that one? What? Do it again.
She's gone down to the local skate park.
And put the kids use pads on her elbows and her knees. Sally likes it.
My name's not Sally, you idiot.
We thought you were in character then. We thought you were in character.
Do you want me to tell my story now?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, well, it's just embarrassing because we go down. My husband at the time, so Stuart and I went down to Tasmania to go to the museum, Mona Museum, And I don't know if you've been before. It's amazing.
It's
right?
unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
But have you seen, am I allowed to say?
Yeah, there's a wall. There's a wall.
There's a wall of
there's
vaginas.
Well, there's a wall of front bottoms.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, am I allowed to say?
describe it as
Yeah, I
the-
think medically
medical
it's a
term.
medical term, so you can do
Okay,
that.
well, I'm cool with that.
I'm all right with it.
Like, let's all
alright.
grow up, guys.
Yeah,
well
It's a
said.
vagina.
Mother's Day.
Someone said it.
So
Yeah,
dropped
and
it
I've
again.
got one, so I'm allowed to say it as loud as I like.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tom's got one too.
So anyway, we're at the museum and we're perusing the wall of vaginas, and
3 times.
and it's funny, a bit like now where it's art and we're adults, and so but everyone's basically in a room together looking at all different kinds of the wonderful world of vaginas, and then so we're standing there and everyone's trying to be super cool about it, and it's quiet, and I'm carrying my daughter in my arms. She must have been about 2.5 at the time. We're just walking along.
no.
It's really, really crowded, right? And I'm
Go
just
for
like,
5.
and you want to look.
Yeah.
You want to look,
'Cause they're
but you don't
fascinating.
want to look. You're like, wow, ooh, I never,
Look at that
wow, really? Like all of that stuff in my head. My daughter, I've never moved so quickly, by the way. My daughter points at one and goes, "Mummy, that's just like you." I've never hit her. I know it's like slapped her arm down so quickly because the room of people are like this.
Wow.
Which one?
I had no idea that you had a wall of vaginas.
There's more than one. Oh my God, Jules is in the Blue Mountain. Welcome, Jules. Hey
guys.
Your kid threw you under the bus, did they, mate?
Yeah, I was in Coles with my daughter. She was about 2, and I dropped this like humongous fart. It was like earth-shattering, and there was no one in the aisle. And I tried to escape the aisle before anyone walked in. And we got to the end of the aisle, and then my daughter very loudly proclaimed to the next person who was walking around the corner that my daddy farted back there.
Yeah.
I love that you use the word humongous.
Yeah, it was like
That was
really...
earth-shattering.
Yeah,
Earth-shattering.
earth-shattering. That's a pretty unique category to be in, Jules.
You can hear how proud Jules is
Yeah,
of
he
what
is.
he did. Tony in Penrith, what happened to you, Tone?
Yeah, good morning, guys. It was a few years ago now. We were introducing ourselves to new neighbours.
Yep.
And my son was riding his scooter around. He came over and he stood patiently, and we thought he was just going to introduce himself. And he looked at the new neighbours and he goes, "Oh, my dad's penis is this big," and used his hands. I was proud of him. He really gave me a good rap.
Generous.
My wife and I both looked at each other and were mortified, but I'm thinking, this is good. He's got my back.
Oh my God, your neighbour's got your front.
Oh,
Carla in Oatley, welcome to the show. What happened?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
We were looking at a unit to rent, and my son told the real estate agent that I fart in the morning.
Did that help get the unit over the line, Carla, or?
No, I didn't choose that one.
And
But
was it earth-shattering? I mean, that's what we need to
Freaking, I think kids know exactly what they're doing. If you think in your head, like that kid coming up on the driveway,
Yeah.
you think they're cute riding up on their scooter.
They know
and they don't
exactly.
know anything. They don't even know what they're saying.
Yep.
You know that
You
they
know
know
exactly
they
what's
know
going
exactly
on.
what they're gonna
We got
do.
one more. Emily in Helensburgh. Hello, Em. What happened?
Hi. My son, he's only 18 months old, so he doesn't know many words, but he definitely knows what a big hairy huntsman looks like. And we were in the bath the other night, and he just pointed and said, "Spider!
Spider.
Spider!"
Pointing at you!
Yeah.
It's grown 8 legs.
The Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Instant spark. Let's talk about love, right? And whether the instant spark, which is like love at first sight, is actually a good thing. People believe in it. I think that's because they've watched too many Hollywood films.
Yeah, or Disney. I don't think instant spark is the same as love at first sight.
Well, have you ever looked at somebody in a room and thought, oh, God, that's my kind of person, and then ended up with that person?
Well, I married her, yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I knew straight away. I knew straight away. I fell in love with her straight away. It took me 2 years.
Yeah, because she had another boyfriend.
And 3 years in Silverwater just following her around. But I just knew straight away. Okay. I just went, no, I'm going to end up marrying that girl.
Yeah, I love that.
Really?
Here's the danger
Maybe
of
that's when you meet people earlier.
Here's the danger of it. Have a listen to this.
The spark. Here's what's wrong with the spark. First of all, people think that the spark can't grow over time. That's not true. The spark can and often does grow. Another problem is that people think if I feel the spark, then this must be a good thing. That's just not true. Plenty of really hot, charismatic, and yes, narcissistic people give off the spark. Some people are just really sparky, and this is more of a reflection on them than what's developing between the two of you.
So the spark can be clearly misleading.
Oh, it absolutely can. I actually think the spark, when you have a full-on, initial spark, I wish I could remember the
name
proper,
of the
guy. The proper wording for this.
Lust?
No, not lust. Is like this. If you feel a spark from someone, quite often what that person is doing is triggering something in you that is maybe unresolved, or it's not necessarily a positive thing. It's kind of like it gets your juices flowing, but it tends to be the thing that you continue to be drawn to, but is quite often negative.
Like a bad boy?
No, it's an instinct. Yeah. I think it's an instinct. And this is the thing, you trust your own instincts. So when you get a feeling about someone, and it can be a negative one, this is the thing, but it's when you get a feeling, you look at someone and you are immediately attracted to them and go, I want to get to know them. You've got to trust that feeling.
Well, you do, yes, you do. But for example, history might say that you are continually drawn to the same kind of thing that does create that physical spark in you and gets all your dopamines and your trauma bonding.
Trauma bonding? Oh, my God.
It's because you tend to bond over an unresolved trauma in you. So you might be attracted to someone.
Tragedy.
This is a huge generalisation and really basic. But if you're attracted to like a bad boy or something, you might have unresolved issues with your father or something. It doesn't necessarily mean that person is the best person for you. In fact, that person might be sent to teach you all that you need to heal.
So what Kate is saying is that every relationship needs to be quite layered. You need to look deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper until you've put the spark out. And then you've overcomplicated it. You're calling it an ick and they're out of the house.
No.
This is an extremely personal question, Kate, and it might be a past relationship or something that's happened in your life. But can you give us an example in your life of something, a trauma that you would bond with somebody else over if you met them?
No, the thing is, you don't have a common trauma. You're not bonding with someone over something that you have in common.
Yeah.
You're bonding with them because of an experienced trauma that you have.
The Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
I want to talk about most ridiculous jobs in Sydney. Do you think you've got a most ridiculous job?
Okay.
I mean, sometimes I think this job is ridiculous.
What about the guy that rang earlier talking about how he had to sniff the chicken at the supermarket to see if it was off?
That's an actual job.
Professional chicken sniffer.
That is not bad.
Foul. Oh, we should have done a foul gag.
joke.
I mean, there's
get him back on.
your pros and your cons. A roast chook just coming out of the oven is magnificent, that smell, but a chook that's been off for a couple of weeks.
No. Isn't it funny, Fitzy, that they are essentially the same thing, but yet so different?
Wow.
Yeah, well, some don't.
Yeah, good.
In conclusion.
Anyway, if you've got a ridiculous job, give us a call, because I have a job that I want to present to you. I don't want you to apply for it. I just want to ask whether you even knew that this job existed in Sydney. It came up on my feed. I'll let this guy explain what it is, this job around Sydney.
I heard about dogs patrolling the Opera House and I finally found them. No wonder for a while now when I'm around this area I see less seagulls. There are multiple dogs that in turn walks around the Opera House each day with the mission to keep seagulls away from people. You can see them using a cute uniform tagged with Seagull Patrol. I did not realize that seagull cumulatively cost businesses a lot of refunds and damages. So, have you seen these adorable heroes around the Opera House?
Mad dogs.
Seen them.
know-
Opera House.
Have
yes.
you? Well, see,
Yeah.
I thought dogs, when I saw the video without the sound and I wasn't reading the words, so I'm just looking at the pictures, I thought they might have been like police dogs sniffing
No,
for...
it's
You
well,
know?
the opera bar is the operative word, because that's where everybody sits out there with that amazing view, Kate, and the dog just patrols up and down. Obviously, it has a minder on a leash, but you watch the seagulls go up. They see the dog coming, and then they'll drop back down when it goes up the other end. But they'll always just keep going up and down, and the dog just gets rid of them all the time.
The dog's got booties on as well.
Yeah,
in
I
case
don't
it
know.
heats up on the hot surface there.
Is that what the dog's for? The dog needs a drink. It's panting, but it does mean it's working hard. Because I guess in a place like that, it is packed down there.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are so many venues, so many places to eat. Those seagulls, as soon as someone gets up from the table...
Oh, disaster, and they'll poo everywhere.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that's what the dogs do. I mean, look, you might not find it that
It's
interesting.
making your dog Annie look very lazy.
Oh, Annie is a
could work
busy
there.
dog.
You could do that after 9. You could head down and be a mad dog patrol
Yeah.
with Annie and
I
just
should
cut
do that.
laps around the Opera House.
Can we've got a phone call from
Yep.
James, who works for Seagull Dogs. You there, Jim?
Yeah, hi, how you going?
G'day,
hi,
James. James, how many dogs have you got on the roster?
Oh, right, probably about 20, 21, something like that.
Wow. Is this a relatively new concept? Because I didn't know about this job. I didn't know it existed. I didn't know those beautiful dogs down there, that was their role.
Yeah, we've been down there since 2018. So we have a different dog every day of the week. So they just work one day a week, and
Is this
that's
something
it,
the local council or the government pays for, James?
No, it's the restaurants there. So we have the two restaurants down on the lower concourse, and they both chip in. Yeah.
Yeah, and who gets paid there? Does the dog? Is
it getting paid in
dog,
schmackos?
Is the dog getting
is the
paid,
handler?
or is it
Or the
worth the restaurants forking out that money? Like, do they see the results in a much more pleasant dining experience?
Yeah, definitely. Well, the dogs don't get paid because they just don't know what to do with all this money that builds up in their bank account. So we look after it for them.
Good.
And then, but yeah, no. In terms of the value at the Opera House, when you go down there, they can't even get the food on the tables when the dog's not there because it gets you get a seafood platter and the food gets taken before it even gets to the table. The chef has to make it again. So it does pay for itself in terms of the amount of food it has to replace. So.
Do the dogs get 4 weeks annual leave, James?
Yeah, they get pretty good work. They get pretty good working conditions, much better than any humans that I know. It's 4-hour shifts. They get a break every hour. They go for a swim on their break and everything, so they do well. Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to. If I dressed up as a dog, I might come and get a job. James,
You're dressed as the seagull down there, aren't you? pecking at the seafood platter before it gets to the table.
All right, mate. James, can I ask, has one of the dogs ever caught one of the seagulls?
No, they've come pretty close a couple of times. They've had one of my dogs maybe pulled a couple of feathers out from one of the seagulls, but it just flapped away. Got him. There's been no damage done, though.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah.
We're looking at the photos here now. What is it? Mad Dog Seagull Patrol.
Yeah.
They are
Mad Dog's
good.
an Englishman, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. They are good-looking dogs.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, people come down just to see the dogs and meet them and watch them at work. So we've sort of refined how we do it. So we've got it down to a fine art now. So it's quite a skill, believe it or not, chasing seagulls up and down. So, yeah.
Well
James, you've got to sneak in a beer or two when you're down there working sometimes with that view, don't you, James?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, all the time. I'm half cut nearly all the time when I'm down there. Yeah.
So you're the mad dog. Right, I get it.
Yes, it all
Thanks,
makes
James.
sense.
Awesome, buddy. Nat in Randwick, welcome to the show, Nat. What is your ridiculous job?
Hi, so it's not my ridiculous job, but I'm a barber and I'm a local barber at Randwick, and I met a gentleman who looks after the diseased and ill body parts of Randwick and University Hospital.
What?
Do you mean like the cadavers?
Not exactly the cadavers, but like he said, they just have like things like football-sized cysts and deformed, like, body parts and, like, diseases and stuff. So, like, just really weird shit.
Is this just to study them, Nat, or is this what they can't get rid of them?
So it's the Randwick Hospital and the university, which do, like, I think, different types of studies and kind of, like, I guess the hospital must get parts as well. And I think they just put them all on display for, like, study purposes and display purposes.
At the uni, because they're just across the road from each other, really.
Yeah, and if someone was to get, I don't know, an ulcer or a cyst or something removed, they might hang on to it, and then if somebody else comes in with the same one, they go, oh, go and check out that cyst in the tube.
Well, you think about it when you look at all those vintage or antique kind of jars of where they keep, you know, eyes and ears.
Or heads.
And
Imagine his kids. Imagine showing what you could take into show and tell.
Oh, yeah. Have a look at what I took out of someone's head today.
This is somebody's hemorrhoids, everybody. Dad we got it from work.
Show and tell. What have you got?
Krista from Parramatta. Your friend has a ridiculous job.
Good morning, guys. He certainly does. So he works on a turkey farm.
Yeah.
And his job is to extract semen from the males and inseminate the females. But how he does it is with a straw and his mouth.
You're the best caller we've had this morning, Krista.
I think ever.
True story. True story.
I mean, if he's coming towards you with a straw in his mouth.
I've been with
Are
a
you
couple of turkeys
Don't
before.
you dare say that.
Yeah, look.
The
I could do it,
you
though.
don't kiss him on the lips.
You got bad breath.
I don't get it, though.
It's not turkey again,
I
is it?
know.
There'd have to
I
be a
know.
video on the internet of that, wouldn't there?
You don't reckon he gets excited at Christmas time?
Yeah, it does change the meaning of that. No.
Oh, stuff the turkey.
Thanksgiving is a whole new concept now.
Yeah, come on, Thanksgiving.
I mean, I don't want to get too graphic here, but so then he gets it out, right, with the straw, and then he has to inseminate the chicken with the same straw.
Or the turkey.
No,
Yeah,
it'd go into it. No, it'd go into something. It'd go into a syringe.
I can't get past the part that he actually has to extract it in the straw.
It's
So
getting
I don't know really what happens after that.
Do you have to
excite the turkey?
Well, no,
Carl's talking, about
I mean, you don't have to go into the process.
Yeah, that's the bit I was wondering.
I'm just more, you know, when you drive into work every day and you think about what's on your plate that day, like you go, okay,
What's on-
I've got to
Day
do
on a
this,
plate.
I've got
Day
to
on
tick
a
that
plate.
off. Have I got enough straws? Am I ready to go?
It's really annoying.
Or-
Plastic straws are being cut out.
Yeah.
You go into the water cooler, grab yourself a coffee, have a chat to Jean in there. How you been, Jean? Good. Well, I better go and a couple of turkeys ready to go out there. I'll be back in an hour.
What are you putting lip balm on for?
You wouldn't let him buy breakfast for the team.
No, you
would
wouldn't, because you never know what it's going to come with. Not on the salad.
Fits in Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova Player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova Player.